Hello and welcome to WKP. This is the Delta countdown to landfall. So today we're going to be tracking Hurricane Delta, which is a Category 2 hurricane right now with winds of 105 miles an hour and a minimum central pressure of 966 millibars. We're going to be tracking the storm. It's likely going to bring some quite bad storm surge, and we're also going to be taking a look at how this will affect other lands, and hopefully we will be able to stream until this makes landfall. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so I'm gonna get to Google right now, and here's where I want to be. So let's take a look at the intensity guidance for the storm first. As you can see, it's looking like most models are thinking this will be a Category 2 until landfall, and then it'll rapidly weaken down to that Category 1 stage. And we're already seeing the storm weakening because it is getting into some shear, so that's causing this storm to weaken. Here's the tracks for this storm. As you can see, the tracks are in very, very good agreement until a little later in the week. And the reason for this is because we have a high over here around Florida, and we have another system down here. I'm not sure if it's a high or a low or what it is, but it's causing the storm to be sandwiched basically right into the same spot Laura made landfall. And what we're going to be seeing for storm surge is quite bad. Here's the National Hurricane Center track for Delta. We're going to turn the track line on. As you can see, we're going to be seeing it make a landfall as a hurricane, and it's almost on landfall. The wind field is very, very large. It started to expand with this storm, and as you can see, a hurricane warning from Texas down quite far down to around Intercoastal City, Louisiana. Here's the storm surge. Here's these peak surge predictions for the storm. As you can see, Vermilion Bay, 7 to 11 feet, and Port O'Connor still 1 to 3 feet, and even up into Mobile Bay, 1 to 3 feet. Let's take a look at, so Sabine Pass, we were talking about this place. We were talking about Sabine Pass with Laura, 3 to 5 feet, High Island, 2 to 4 feet. And sadly, we don't have Cameron on here, but Cameron will likely be around that 5 to 8 feet. Storm surge, Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge, 5 to 8 feet. And Morgan City could experience 4 to 6 feet. So some very, very high storm surge. We're also going to be experiencing quite a bit of wind with this storm. Take a look at this. Most, and I mean most, of Louisiana is in a 90% chance to see these tropical storm force winds and above. And look at this, 50 to 60% chance extends as far as Mississippi and into Texas. So it's a very, very large wind field. This wind field has expanded greatly on this storm. Let's take a look at the hurricane wind speed probabilities. As you can see on landfall, where landfall will occur around Cameron or Intercoastal City, 70 to 80% chance of seeing hurricane force winds. So we also want to take a look at the flash flooding potential, because it's looking like we won't see much flash flooding, but we'll see more of a storm surge on the coast. Inland, we could see some flash flooding, though. 20% moderate. Most of Louisiana is in that 20% moderate. Otherwise, we have mostly around 10% slight, and up in the Appalachians, which we've been seeing the Weather Channel report on, around 10% slight chance for seeing those strong rainfall potential. Here's the rainfall potentials, and not really much rain we're going to be seeing with the storm. The reason for that is it's going to be moving through rapidly. We're going to see this storm make landfall in the next 30 minutes likely, and it looks like 6 to 10 inches for landfall up until around the middle of Louisiana. And it's looking like there won't be much rain, luckily, for around New Orleans, which we know had a really rough time with Katrina back in 2005. The wind history for this storm, you can see when it was a Category 4, it really didn't have a big wind field, but look at the wind field. It started to expand quite a bit, so it'll probably expand more once it gets on land. Usually they do that, and I was watching the live stream on the Weather Channel. I'm not copying them, by the way, but they were also saying this, and this usually happens when storms make landfall. So let's take a look at the windy weather forecast for the storm. We're looking at the GFS model. I'm going to refresh this page quickly because Well, we still don't have landfall, but let's take a look at the wind, what the winds are in Cameron right now. So around 39 mile an hour sustained, and I'm gonna quickly go to gusts. Let's take a look at 63 mile an hour gusts, and let's take a look at when landfall is going to happen. So this is around 3 p.m. Okay, this hasn't updated, but around 4 p.m. Let's take this to 5. So we could be seeing gusts of anywhere to 53, and it looks like some high gusts, not really high in Cameron, but gusts probably going up to around 70. I think we'll see higher gusts, probably more around 90 in Cameron. And Intercoastal City looks like they're going to get the worst of the wind. You can see in this band, look at this, 78 mile an hour gusts. Let's take a look at their sustained winds with, I'm going to turn off gusts and go to wind with 55 mile an hour sustained winds. So Intercoastal City is going to be seeing the worst with this storm. Let's take a look at when they're going to get those winds. If you're in Intercoastal City, expect around right now to be getting those 47 to 72 mile an hour winds. That's Category 1 hurricane force winds, and that's what we'll be experiencing with a weakening Category 2. So if you have any questions, please comment them. I'm going to take a look at the comments right now. So, let's get into this. So I'm going to be taking a look at the comments right now to see if any of you guys have comments. So, without further ado, let's get into the stream. Okay, looks like we don't have any comments, so we'll keep going with the stream, and I'm going to refresh the page and take a look at the aircraft recon for you guys to see what it's doing so far. Let's go back to tropicaltidbits.com. Check them out, by the way. Pretty good website. And aircraft recon is looking a little fuzzy there. Now let's take a look at this. Really, we haven't gotten much aircraft recon lately. As you can see, just really started. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Looks like, I don't know when this was updated. Yeah, this is the last update of aircraft recon we have so far. As you can see, those winds of 96 to 113 knots, which is around a strong Category 2. So this is mission 21 into Delta, which is looking quite fuzzy right now. And I'm hoping in the next couple of minutes we'll have a better update to go from and see what's actually happening, because that is really, really fuzzy. Let's take a look at how far this storm is from making landfall. This is Google Earth. Here we go. We can sort of see the storm right there. I'm going to get this nice little distance thing, and the center's somewhere around here. So it's looking like anywhere from 47 to 50 miles is what I think we are, how far we are from seeing a landfall of this storm. So as you can see, it's not looking really defined at all, looking more of a blob. It was looking a little better defined earlier when it was in the Gulf and strengthening when it hit that Category 3 range, but now it's starting to weaken, hitting that shear and colder water, so it is starting to weaken and cool down. So with that colder water that I mentioned, let's take a quick look at the ocean analysis. So as you can see, there's that very cold water, and there's also some shear in this area that we're going to be tracking, and that's weakening the storm and making it not as strong. Luckily, this is a very good situation for the cities of, for the town of Cameron and the cities in the area of the landfall. So what's really important right now is taking a look at these models. As you can see, the GFS has a landfall with 978 millibars, and we're going to be seeing this storm probably stay a nice tropical storm somewhere up into around Mississippi. That's what the GFS is showing as far as how long we'll see this thing. As far as we're going to see this thing stay a tropical storm. Now let's take a look at the other models. We're going to be taking a look at the CMC model, which doesn't have the pressure as high. The CMC model seems to under-exaggerate the strength of these storms. As you can see, we're going to be seeing that landfall of 983 millibars, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a tropical storm well into about half the state. So it's looking like this storm will stay a tropical storm for quite a while, and it's going to bring quite a bit of rain for the inland states. As you can see, it's going to bring a good bit of rain all the way up into the North Carolina area, and then it's going to be pushed on out by what looks like a possible cold front. So that's going to help push this storm on out. And see, there's that high right there that we were tracking, and this is causing that storm to be sandwiched into land. So that's why we're getting this landfall in Louisiana, and also we're getting effects in Texas. Let's take a look at the satellite imagery and see how well this thing is doing. So we're going to go to the true color. And as you can see, I think, let's see, has it made landfall? Oh, it's looking like it's made landfall. I think it's made landfall. Let's refresh this map. We'll see, has it made landfall? This one hasn't refreshed, so I'm going to go to, what time is it? Okay, that's the wrong site. I'm going to go to the National Hurricane Center because maybe we have a landfall. Let's take a look here, and we're going to go to this. I'm hoping, really hoping that we have gotten that landfall now. Still looking like it's off in the ocean, though I do think based on what the satellite is showing that we have gotten a landfall. Though I may be wrong. It's looking at 5:22 official landfall. I may be wrong, and I probably am wrong, but I think we may have gotten landfall. It's really hard to see that center, but look at this. You can see that satellite imagery, and it's going right on over to land, right in Cameron. So before we end the video, I want to go over a few things. Cameron, you're going to be experiencing some strong hurricane force winds, anywhere probably from gusting 70 to 90 miles an hour. As you can see, wind field with this storm is expanding. We're going to be seeing some really high peak surge, 7 to 11 feet in total, at the highest point. And the wind field is expanding with this storm. And we're also going to be tracking this. We're going to be seeing a lot, and I mean a lot, of tropical storm winds for most of the state. So what I think is going to happen throughout the week, or throughout today, we're going to be seeing this storm make landfall, weaken quite rapidly, and then it's going to be cleared out, and that'll probably be it for the tropics, except we do have one storm. Maybe I can bring that up quickly. That is in the tropics right now with a 20% chance of forming. A brand new disturbance 1 out here with a 20% chance of formation, and environmental conditions for some slow development of the over the next weekend or early next week while it is located over the tropical Atlantic. That's when we could be seeing some of that formation, and then winds are going to become, conditions are going to become less favorable. Thank you for watching. This has been WKP, and I messed up that stream terribly. Bye. We're leaving. You're talking in the stream.